Good morning. Hello, BrokerBin. Thank you all for joining us today. We are here to chat about the latest in cybercrime with Eric Dvorak and Al Brask from ESX Technology Solutions. So a while back, you guys may have remembered that Eric and I have done this together already. Hi, Eric.
Hello, good morning.
And hi, Al.
Good morning.
But Eric was sharing about some of the advanced security measures that ESX Technology Solutions takes to secure their customers' assets against virtual and physical threats. And so we just thought that was a whole nother topic, a whole nother trade IQ. So we're going to host another webinar about cybersecurity again. So here we are.
Yes.
So we know and we have heard that scammers are getting more sophisticated, and an investigative report in The Economist released in 2025 stated that a whopping 500 billion a year is stolen from victims around the world. So what can we do to minimize the risk to our businesses and our customers? And that's the question that today's conversation will focus on. We are also joined by our very own Brian Mix, who runs our technology program here at BrokerBin, or our technology department here at BrokerBin. Hi, Brian.
Hello.
Brian is here also. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. And thank you to those of you who submitted your questions ahead of time. We'll try to address the questions as we go during this webinar, or at the end of the webinar, allow for time for that. If we don't get to your question, however, we will definitely follow up. So the experts, who are Eric, Al, and Brian, will definitely follow up with you directly afterwards. And then we will send out a follow-up email with the recording link for the webinar and include the email addresses for all of our speakers. So feel free to reach out to them directly as well. All right, guys. Eric, Al, and Brian, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks
for having us.
All right, we were just talking before we got started how the weather is pretty nice to us here in Minnesota these days. So I hope that everybody else around the world is having a sunny day as well, because it makes a real difference, doesn't it, you guys?
Yes, it does.
It really does.
Okay. All right, well, let's get started with some introductions. So Eric and Al, if you want to tell us about ESX Technology Solutions and what your role is, and introduce yourselves.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Renee. Thanks, Brian. Thanks for everybody being here. My name is Eric Dvorak. I'm the vice president here. I oversee the sales and operations side. And then ESX is a diverse IT company that supports many businesses in several areas. Our three main focuses are: we buy and sell technology hardware. We provide on-site support to keep systems running smoothly and keep the longevity of the equipment. And then lastly, and the reason we're here, is we do the cybersecurity services through a team of dedicated engineers and reps like Al. So.
Great.
Thanks, Eric. Hi, everyone. My name is Al Brask. I'm a senior security sales specialist here at ESX. This is my fifth full year at the company. I've spent some time working with 4 manufacturers in the cybersecurity space, building territories around the country and selling a lot of different cybersecurity software and services. So I've got a pretty good history with the MDR space, vulnerability management, things like that. But I'm really happy to be with ESX, supporting our customers around the country and around the world with their cybersecurity needs.
That's awesome. Great. And Brian, our very own Brian.
Yeah, well, so like Renee said, I am the head of IT here at BrokerBin, and I have over 30 years of experience building and hosting websites, most of that here at BrokerBin, and I'm very happy to be here.
We're happy to have you guys, all of you. Okay, so let's just jump right in. Brian, would you start us off with information on the latest in cybercrime?
Yeah, sure. So at BrokerBin, as you can imagine, we've seen a lot, right? Like we've seen, the kind of standard DDoS attacks where somebody tries to like attack our website with just massive amounts of traffic in order to bring it down. man in the middle type stuff where somebody is trying to intercept and relay communications. Spoofing, we do see a lot of spoofing. IP, email, web address. It's pretty common. The email compromise is kind of a big deal, right? Like we see quite a bit of that, or we hear about a lot of that kind of stuff in the community. And really, I think a lot of these things just sort of boil down to identity theft of some form or another, right? But in our sector, I believe that the biggest thing is phishing, and they're kind of related to spoofing, but phishing where you receive like an email where they're trying to trick you into usually transferring funds in some way. So we see a lot of that stuff. And obviously, I'm involved with trying to actually do something about that. Specifically, the phishing is hard to deal with because it happens off our platform. There's not a lot we can do about it, but there are some things. So it's exciting, and it's a kind of a fun thing to be a part of, as well as a very serious and kind of somber overlook as well. So
Right. Yeah. It's unfortunate, but it's also fun when we can figure it out and help.
Right.
Right. Okay, ESX, do you have anything to add to what Brian was just sharing?
Yeah, absolutely. Phishing's a really tough one because it's kind of this game of cat and mouse between the threat actors and the good guys who have the tools. So there's a recent story, a phishing attack that happened late April, just a couple of weeks ago, where a company called Robinhood, they're kind of a brokerage company that you can buy and sell stocks and equities on their platform. The threat actors found a way to fake security emails that actually came from the no reply at robinhood.com email. So it looked very authentic because it kind of was an authentic note. So Robinhood itself wasn't actually breached, and no customer accounts or money was stolen. The danger only came if someone clicked that particular link in that login email from Robinhood. So it's gotten really challenging for people to kind of figure out what's real in their email correspondence because of this type of spear phishing and phishing and general business email compromise. So there's a lot of different things that you can do, things you can put in place to protect against that. But ultimately, some of the high level things that are really important to focus on are don't click links in security alerts is kind of a general rule.
Okay.
Phone call is always good to talk with the company if you do think that something's happened. Having a multi-factor authentication tool in place with your organization, and just generally like personally with apps that you use is super important. And then this is a tough one for our industry as well, but when in doubt, assume that urgency equals a scam or some type of illicit activity. And obviously there's a lot of urgency in our business because people need to get products shipped out. There's quotes going back and forth. There's pricing conversations and things change quickly. So it can be hard to delineate between that. But there's something that companies can also do, which is user awareness training. So employees can go through training to just kind of build this general sense of how to protect the organization, what looks suspicious. So when you do see red flags, the user and the employees of the company just have a general sense of, hey, maybe this doesn't look right. Maybe this level of urgency seems inauthentic in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right on with that stuff, Al. A lot of times we see email stuff where you'll receive an email from somebody with a similar domain as someone else. They're trying to impersonate someone, and they'll register a domain with one character difference or something, right? So like nobody's infrastructure has even been compromised, but they're still appearing, to look like somebody else. So
That's right.
It's tricky. It's real hard to deal with.
Yeah, you almost need to be a detective these days because, to your point,
Yep.
Brian, there's ways that you can make an M look like an M, but you just use the letter R and an N next to each other.
Sure. Yep.
So there's just all sorts of little things that people are figuring out, and that's why secure email gateway tools are very important. things like Proofpoint and Abnormal AI that can help kind of figure out those little details that the human eye can miss.
Right. And you're right. It's as a general rule, you should almost never click a link in an email for any reason. Like go to the website, type in the URL yourself and log in.
That's right.
Don't click the link.
That's good. Just this morning, you guys, I was sent a DocuSign. I get DocuSigns all day long that are not legit.
Mm-hmm.
So I waited until the person who sent the DocuSign sent me another email to say, yes, like this is the DocuSign. Because that one to me is the trickiest. I feel like, do you guys get those DocuSigns?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. All the
Oh
time.
my goodness.
I just had to. You got to call the person that you're getting it from now just to make
Yeah.
sure.
Right.
It's a fail safe. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, this is really to Eric and Al. What was it that propelled ESX Technology Solutions into addressing cybersecurity solutions for your customers?
Yeah, I think it's like a lot of different folks in the channel have experienced. Us resellers is our roots came from supporting the data center core IT environments, whether it's storage, backups, compute, networking, and our clients depended on us for that level of support to help run their businesses. So we were already supporting, the most essential data, production data, things like that, helping them with data protection and backups. So it was a very seamless transition to go into cybersecurity and supporting their infrastructure in a different way, more from a software perspective and a layered security approach. So in many ways, we've kind of been helping our customers long before from a cybersecurity perspective, like before cybersecurity really became a household word, by keeping their systems up, resilient, supported, and well architected. But as we've moved into this new world of cybersecurity, there's all sorts of different products and vendors and different ways to set up your security strategy that we've just kind of easily moved in from the continuing with our hardware business, but also consulting on the software side.
Yeah, it really is a great and necessary next step.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yep. So regarding IT infrastructure, what do you guys believe are the absolute must-haves that you recommend a company implement as protective measurements? And that's really a question to any one of you.
Well, I put together kind of a list of 9 core technologies that we believe organizations should have implemented. And there's a lot of different ways to do this. You can partner with a cybersecurity company that has a platform. You can pick and choose, best of breed technologies, but they really just it starts with identity and access management. Who controls who can access what is big. So there's products from SailPoint and Microsoft and Okta that help with this. We've touched on multi-factor authentication previously, which I'm sure everyone here has experienced that in some capacity. And I know it can be a little bit tedious to go through the MFA portals every day when you log in, but that really is an important step. One of the biggest things that we've been helping our customers implement now is endpoint detection and managed detection and response. So this is basically how organizations can get a full view into all of their assets that are connected to the internet and monitor those assets 24/7 to scan for malicious activity. And that can be the north-south traffic on the network, servers, storage, hosts, virtualization. It's now even getting into mobile. So corporate issued mobile devices, security teams can now scan those and look at them 24/7 to see if there's any malicious activity happening there. So MDR and XDR is huge. Email security and anti-phishing tools we've touched on as well. So secure email gateways are an absolute must-have today, whether it be a Proofpoint or Mimecast or Abnormal AI. There's a couple different ones out there, but those are really helpful in picking up things that we all do every day with our activity with BrokerBin, with our activity with our customers, which is sending things over email. and it really helps with that. I've got two more on the list here. Vulnerability management is important. So those are things like Tenable or Qualys or Rapid7 that do internal and external vulnerability scanning. So it looks for certain gaps in the network, things that need to be patched. So when a 0-day attack comes out, which is a novel attack piece of malware that comes out, those companies can pick that up and say, hey, ESX, we've noticed that there's a new 0-day vulnerability on these firewalls. Help your customers patch these firewalls and remediate the issue. And then finally, security awareness training. So there's a lot of different tools. Probably the most well-known awareness training platform would be like a KnowBe4, but all the big players in cybersecurity have this now. So that's basically where users can take anywhere from 5 to 30 minutes monthly, weekly, every other week to learn about the new types of security threats that are out there. And these companies have tried to really get it dialed in where you don't need to invest your full afternoon to sit in on a training. They want people taking these trainings, so they make it shorter in time. So folks like myself can say, well, this is the new type of multi-factor authentication scam that bad actors are deploying to companies. And I can protect myself and our organization through these types of trainings, which are just basically videos that you watch and they say this is what's new and this is what to look out for. So that's my list of kind of the absolute must-haves. And
That's
we'll
a very comprehensive list.
It's comprehensive, and I'm sure in a year or two there's going to be about 5 more things to talk about.
Right. So I feel like I just said, it's a very comprehensive and probably for some might feel a little bit overwhelming, but that's exactly why ESX is doing what you guys are doing, correct? Like to help and to partner with people and to walk people through this, because it's important. I mean, it's critical. Yeah. Critical to the business. It's critical to the business.
It is.
So Brian, can you share a little bit about like what we're doing here at BrokerBin to reinforce security measures and following some of those things that Al just shared?
Sure. So we have, over the years, we've implemented all sorts of security add-ons. The big one is encryption, really, in all sorts of various shapes and sizes. So, of course, we use SSL certs on the website, for example, but we force all traffic through SSL. So, anybody that connects to our website, the data being transferred between us, our servers, and their client is completely encrypted. That's huge. We do the same thing for email. We use DKIM and SPF encryption. We also use high-end firewalls that utilize intrusion prevention systems, virus scanning, and web application firewalls, and deep packet inspection. So high-end firewalls are critical, I would say, even for your office, right? Like not even only if you run a website, but just for the office. Do we have the same firewall here in Rochester that we have up in our data center in Minneapolis? We also use actively maintained software. So like Al was talking about the 0-day patches, we use a management tool that scans and keeps track of everything and keeps us up to date with the patches. Same with the servers. We keep all that up to date. We do vulnerability tracking and all of the like office computers and laptops and everybody's devices. And we also provide tools and information on the website for people to do that, like the new escrow feature, as well as just the company profile for looking people up and verifying addresses and things like that. There's really nothing that beats personal diligence,
Yeah.
And then lastly, we've got the new website. We have the new beta site we've been working on. We're using email validation. It has better session encryption for all the session data, and just various site interactions are more secure. But we've also developed like an email hash relay for sending broadcasts and replying to broadcasts, which means that using the new website, you'll be able to reply directly to broadcast emails received from BrokerBin users, but only from the verified email address attached to the recipient account, right? So this hopefully will go a long way to addressing those phishing scams when you can just reply directly to the email, but your email address itself is never actually revealed. So I think that'll be huge. I'm very excited about that one.
Yeah, I am too, Brian. Yeah, that's going to be great. And just going back to the diligence piece that you talked about and the profiles. And so this is a little bit less on the tech side, but from, a sales side, a marketing side, when you're engaging specifically with people, with members on BrokerBin, but it's a good practice in all of your work is to, like you said, Brian, go back and check that profile. Or go back to the website and look something up. Like, don't be doing all this work through an email or through email links that you haven't somehow verified.
Yeah, and like Al said, the
Especially
trainings too. Attending those trainings is key, or getting everyone trained is huge as well, because everyone has to actually know what to look. You don't know what you're looking for until you actually see it, or see an example of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of shocking how many folks, at a big enterprise will fail these trainings. Like when IT teams will do like the phishing tests and whatnot. Like my sister-in-law works for a very large food company here in the Midwest, and they've got tens of thousands of employees. 40% of the company failed, a certain phishing test, which is just a large number of people. So when you're talking about tens of thousands of people, they're getting something incorrect in the testing. That just goes to show how large the threat surface is for these bad actors to infiltrate a company. So, unless you're getting down to the 1 or 2% failure rate, it goes to show how, from a macro perspective, this is just such a big issue.
Right. Especially with the big companies, it becomes so much harder to deal with.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
Yeah. And it's so scary. And I always think, what are these people doing? Like, okay, you can get into like the bad actors and like what they're doing but it's working because they keep doing it, right? So people are that's like the really unfortunate thing.
Yeah, plus it keeps evolving with AI and the tools getting better and technology getting better. They keep evolving their attempts and making them more sophisticated. So that only makes it even harder still.
Even harder. We got to get one step ahead. And the other thing that I was going to say too, and this again isn't necessarily like about cybersecurity, but I just need to put this plug in here while I can. Things like sending money to the address that isn't the address on BrokerBin, things like that. Like that's where we definitely want to like say, no, let's not send money until we verified or talk to someone and that was the real catalyst for us partnering with Escrow, because that's happening. People are spoofing invoices for heaven's sake and sending them out and people are paying them. Okay, anyway. Back to technology. Okay, so Eric and Al, what would you guys recommend for our audience to stay safe online? I know you've got something to share with us here.
Yeah. So there's a couple different approaches that we take when we're engaging either with an existing client or a net new customer. One thing that we do is a tabletop exercise where you can just basically sit down and go through all of their assets, try to get visibility into different tools that they have, so we can make sure that these organizations are maximizing their existing tool set. And then if there are any gaps, identify where they are. And one of the ways to identify where those gaps are is doing a virtual pen test. So I'll pull up my screen and share that right now.
Great.
So can you guys all see this okay?
We can, or I can,
Yep.
We can. Yep.
Okay, so this is just one way that we can kind of generate conversations about where there's gaps, and this is a an excerpt from an example of a result. So after we do this pen test, we can share this with the team and say, here's what we found. Here's where there's gaps in your environment. We've found 5 critical issues, 2 highs, 5 mediums, and these are usually, things that we need to patch within the existing environment. But this is helpful in helping us find things that we can ping on the network and assets that folks might not know that they have. But if we can't see it and we can't ping it, it can be, it's a vulnerability basically. So we categorize these different things, right? So insecure protocols, patching deficiencies, configuration deficiencies, egress filtering. So we can help find these different outcomes and actually work with the company to deliver them. So we don't just run the pen test, give you the results and run away. One of our big value adds is we'll definitely stick around and help you improve your security posture by taking action on what these reports find. And then subsequently have a conversation around who's going to take action on this, whose job is it to do this, and then which products and solutions can we potentially look into to help make our lives easier moving forward to protect the organization. And then I think there's just one other page that I'll share.
So just to clarify there, Al, you guys are also a part of the actual implementation.
Yeah. Yep. So we can help run these different pen tests. We've got other partners that will do them. So we'll decide on which pen test is the right fit for your business, whether it's a ongoing continuous pen test or a point in time type of engagement. And then, regarding the different software, like I mentioned earlier, like the MDR, XDR, single sign-on, multi-factor authentication, we have partners that we've kind of evaluated best of breed. So we've done all the research for for our customers and said, you've got options, but the list of partners that we have are the ones that we've vetted. And more than 20 years in our business, we've got a pretty good idea of who does a good job. And we've got companies that we might recommend for our customers who are on the smaller side, 10 to 15 to 20 to 50 employees. And we've got customers that are in the tens of thousands of employees and up. So just about any size organization we can work with in any vertical or type of business. So
Great.
to that point, that's kind of where we start the conversation with customers around the security side, is that tabletop exercise mixed with something like this, maybe a pen test, or just some type of assessment where we can get a bird's eye view of what's going on and where there might be immediate places to take action.
And do you guys find that you have, obviously the obvious answer is to set all of this up ahead of time before something happens is the ideal, correct?
Yeah.
Do you have clients or people reaching out to you who are kind of in the middle of something that's gone wrong or haywire, or there's been a breach in their security, and then you can backtrack as well?
Yeah, that's pretty frequent. We'll talk to folks who are doing a data center migration and need help with that. And then there's going to be cybersecurity concerns that go along with that. We've got certain partners that are in the cyber insurance space. So they're having conversations frequently with folks who are going through an incident response and IR engagement with them. So we'll get referred into a conversation from folks like that who just experienced a breach. They called their cyber insurance provider to file a claim, and we'll get brought in to help them remediate the issue and then increase their security posture by implementing different layered approaches to things that they maybe weren't doing before the breach happened. Other times, sadly, people can just get unlucky and they have a very good security practice in place. They've got a team of people. They've invested heavily in best of breed tools, and something still goes awry. Whether it's an employee that did something or just bad luck. So it's really up to us to help our company or customers invest in the right way that fits for their business and how to protect their business. But it's really just an ongoing battle.
It is. Yeah, it is. And we all, I mean, all of us recognize or have heard of stories of really large companies, right? That you would think would not have any vulnerabilities. I mean, even the Robinhood example you shared. I mean, you would assume Robinhood, right? A financial company would have zero vulnerability, but that's actually not even a thing.
That's right. Yeah, and there's been a lot of large breaches in the news that are huge companies, and oftentimes it's the bad actor gets into this large organization through a smaller company that works with this organization. So when I'm on a sales call, a lot of the time I'll ask my customer, I'll say, do you have any major accounts that you guys sell to that are over 10 or 15% of your annual revenue? And if that's the case, it's we work with Pepsi, or we work with some huge medical company that's our biggest customer. I said, we need to make sure that you are not a part of the potential threat surface because you do business with this company. And what happens if you guys get breached and Pepsi finds out that you guys had an issue? How much revenue does that cost the business, right? So those are conversations we're having. It's obviously a cybersecurity conversation, but ultimately it's a business conversation. And our goal is to help our customers make more money and, using technology and security tools to do that.
Yeah. My goodness, it can be quite a domino effect.
Yeah, it really can.
But that's exactly what you guys are doing, is helping people from not all of those dominoes going down, right? Like kind of stopping it where you can.
Absolutely.
Gosh, well, thank you so much. This was a wealth of resources. Very, very helpful. And I assume that there's going to be a lot of people who are going to have some more in-depth questions to ask, and in order, they can just reach out to you guys directly, right?
Yep,
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So I just want to thank you guys so much for being here. Thanks, Brian, for joining me. He's in an office just down the way. That was fun to have you on, Brian.
Yeah, thanks.
Brian, I will say, is entirely available to anyone, anytime for questions. He's Brian@BrokerBin.com. If it's a cybersecurity question or a technical question, it's probably better him than me. And thank you so much, Eric and Al, for joining us. It's really good to talk to you guys again, and for you guys to be able to provide this resource to our members. I said before we started this webinar that was just really my goal, is for our members to understand that we have resources like this within the network of BrokerBin.
Correct. Yeah.
Which I think is great, and we really appreciate. So, and you guys, what's the best way? We'll put some contact information up, but email, calling, LinkedIn.
Yeah, I'll ask.
Okay.
Right? Okay. Yeah. So you reach out to Al at abrask@esxtech.com, and he'll answer you, or I can guide you in any way as well. So.
Okay. Great. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. And thanks for the work that you're doing. Honestly, it makes such a difference to have people in the industry figuring this out and staying ahead of the bad actors.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. I appreciate you having us.
Yeah, you guys take care.
Thank you, Renee. Thanks, Brian.
You guys.
Thank you.